That's what I was saying. What if someone would have slipped? Oh my god, that would have been dancito. There's no way this is true. I still think Tupac is alive is stupid as well. Suspect accused of killing 2-year-old grabs detective gun during interview. Oh nah. Oh nah. Oh nah, bro. Damn, they was struggling with this guy for a minute. Damn, yeah. Let me stop. But they struggled with this nigga for a minute. Man, what the fuck? Yo, how come nobody rocked him with something in the head already? Like, hit that nigga in the head with a baton. What the fuck y'all doing? Father catches a man trying to sneak into his home to meet his daughter.
Your house. This is my first time in your house.
I'm saying though, my nigga. I'm saying though, bro. Hold on. This nigga saying he ain't never been in my motherfucker. Yesterday, bro.
No sir, no sir, no sir.
When I find you, you dead. When I find you lying, bro. I'm about to go down and check these messages, bro.
Sir, I've never been in your house. This is my first time in your house.
I'm saying though, my nigga. I'm saying though, bro. Hold on. This nigga saying he ain't never been in my motherfucker. What the fuck is this, bro?
I always
my daughter right here.
She always came outside.
Who the fuck is this? That one school. Who the fuck is this, bro?
Twin, yo, message is right there. The message is at the top.
Bro, I'm saying.
Sorry.
My nigga.
Sorry,
Who the fuck is nigga playing with?
I swear to God, I swear to God. I swear to God.
Who the fuck? Yesterday, bro.
No sir, no sir, no sir.
When I
What the fuck? Uranium. No, I didn't want to. What the fuck? Alright. Is this real? What the fuck they gonna do with uranium? Uh, Lady Gaga dancer almost buried the singer alive during the deceased performance. Let me guess, they selling fake drip? That's crazy.
انت الكابتن جايب لك حاجة. واحد شغال في جيم بيبيع لك يقول لك خد دي، الجسم كان بيكبر.
يمكن زي اللي كان محمود بياخدها اللي هي ديت ولا
ايه بالظبط. وبعدين احنا كنا في وقت وكنت في زمن اللي هو ما حد ياخد
كان عندك
حاجه.
11 سنه.
كان عندي 11 سنه.
There's
لا
no
ده
way
انت
this is the
كده
same
لسه
kid, because
صغير.
I remember seeing a
هتبتدي ان
kid
انا اخد باودر
that
وبرشام
was like
الزل اللي هو
OD brolic
سبلمنت عادي
back in the
بيه،
day.
واخد حقن بس في العضل. بعد كده عرفت واحد
Yeah,
تاني.
this fake. This ain't real. I think that's everything. Unless this is yeah, I think that's everything, gang.
I don't work too hard for this to let some shit like this stop, bro. I gotta get this shit back, bro. Dr. Doom is not, you're not seeing the last of, bro. I'm telling you.
Let's see, man. It's obviously fake, bro. There's no way.
He cut the lights off. You're not supposed to. You heard Jim? Huh? He cut the lights off.
Niggas left. It was like, nah, what the fuck? This nigga too weak.
What's up? What happened? Yeah, I'm good. No, it's mine. It's my property. All right? You gotta talk to somebody.
What the fuck? He's just kicking in both doors? Yeah, he's bugging. Yo, 50 Cent. 50 Cent got the receipts on this nigga. That's crazy, gang.
From us now. Do you?
I already knew this shit was coming, bro. We wrote it for fucking dumbass. I didn't vote for this motherfucker. New Yorkers ruined it for me. This is why her fingers is all yellow.
Huh? So you see, our winnow is now fresh. Now I'm going to put it to dry just here. So we'll do it again.
I'm confused. She's got a bonnet but can't buy a normal bow. How I just realized that? Yo, bro.
Guys, this is our winnow. And it
How I
has
just realized this shit.
faded already. Don't you see? This is cow dung that we used to.
Cow dung, right? You're using cow poop. I'm supposed to believe that.
Now that
You got this fancy bonnet
The
around your
countdown is
head.
done and we need to refresh it. Let's refresh it together. Here is our buckets of dung. Pour here. So this is dung.
That really is done.
This is how you refresh it.
That really do look like poop. I ain't gonna lie. I thought she was trolling, bro.
Mind you, this thing is for putting food, so if you think it's bad,
Nah, this is fake. This is fake, right? This gotta be AI. There's no way this is real. This is fucking real, bro. What in the fuck? Why do they use cow dung on everything?
And the reason our cow dung does not smell is because our animals are fed on organic grass. Our floors are smeared with cow dung for so many different reasons. And one of the questions was, when do we know it's time to refresh the floor again? How we know is when the floor starts to crack and the cow dung starts blacking. You know that the floor and the cow dung has gotten a little bit worn out. And also when you sweep the floor and then you realize there's a lot of dust instead of cow dung dust, okay? That also helps us realize that it's time to refresh the floors again. And also someone asked, do you mop the floor? No, we don't mop the floor. It is dung, it is earth. But what we do is that when the floors get older, we tend to sprinkle water before we sweep to limit down on the cow dung dust and also the dust, the soil dust. Someone asked me the temperature of the floor. Is it cold? Is it hot? It is room temperature. Room temperature. Rainy seasons, sunny seasons, it is room temperature. And then someone again asked me, does it smell? Cow dung does not smell. And the reason our cow dung does not smell is because our animals are fed on organic grass. They go into the bushes, they are well fed. The dung they give us.
I find that hard to believe, sister. I'm sorry, but you could be a fucking vegan. Your poop stinks.
Welcome to my grandmother's beautiful home. You see this beautiful fence? Very sustainable, very eco-friendly, and very welcoming. This is how we are able to keep safe. In the inside, do you guys wanna come? Come with me. And this is our beautiful gate, okay? And if I tell you, you need to have some kind of toned legs, a toned body to be able to operate well here, okay? So if you're ever coming to visit us, make sure you visit the gym first, because this here is for people that are worked out and strong like me. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this is how we get into going to our house after we've done all the day's errands. Stay right there. I don't know if you see me, but let me come back. You can only do that if you have toned legs. And also those are the ways we are able to stay fit in this beautiful village. Everything around us is so well planned, strategically planned. There are brains behind every single thing in an African homestead, a Ugandan homestead. And these are things you'll never see on social media, but they are so paramount. Anyways, let me stop talking too much. you can come in. It's okay if you didn't go to the gym today, you will manage. Welcome to we get out to go work the farms at 5 or 5:30 a.m. before the sun rises. So by the time the sun starts to rise, we're already in the farm and we have worked the land for quite some time. That's to say, harvesting, planting, weeding, depending on the season of the
I
year.
don't know. Okay. I thought I finished watching
So
this
to
video.
start off, right, I want to show you some of the theories that are going around that basically suggest, okay, that maybe it's not Jizz Stain Maxwell who is actually serving that time in the pen. This is going around, all right? Anomalous evidence. Let's join. Why did Maxwell's hairstyle suddenly change in prison from the long hair she had 5 months ago, August 2025, to make her look more like she was before entering prison? We are being played. And this says, this is basically a video of people basically kind of breaking down how her appearance has suspiciously changed, all right, in the last few appearances of her that have been going around. So let's just take a little look at this. I want to just line this up perfectly and actually see everything, and I will read it to you. I don't know if we need the music, but this basically says, can someone explain why Maxwell's hair suddenly changes from her photo below to the hairstyle she was publicly photographed having to have the time before she was in prison? So let's look at this. Let's look at the breakdown. So they're suggesting that the nose shape is off. She's had a nose job in prison. She's had a chin. She's had a clav job. Whatever that surgery clavicula's talking about, he's going to get done to his chin, right? She's had that done as well, apparently. And, whole new chin, new me, new sentence, new cell, right, is not really making too much sense. They're saying, how is she suddenly looking completely different? Kind of does look like a different person, I'm not going to lie to you. It does look very different, okay? Now, let's hear what people are saying in the comments. Saying RFK. Look into Steve Blannon's flood the zone with shit concept. They're saying scapegoats, only the rich get them. Says she's 64. Odds are we should be able to see grey hairs. Why is her hair so dark? Is she dyeing her hair while in prison? And it says, well, she is at a minimum security luxury prison. There was a whistleblower who came forward who said Maxwell was getting preferential treatment, which included custom meals, staff catering to her, after-hours access to the gym, private comms, etc. The prison she's nicknamed in is Club Fed. She may be confined to the facility, but she's not really being punished in the same manner as your typical inmate. So more people are pointing out some of the lovely benefits that she gets as part of this prison stay at Club Fed, okay? They're basically saying, just to add, she gets a puppy to play with in there. When a fellow inmate openly complains about the perks she was getting, that inmate was moved to an even harsher prison, sending a warning to the rest of the inmates. Crazy. And the warden also complained about her being a bitch. Not bad treatment for a PDF who helped our word about 1,200 underage women, girls, underage women. That's not really a thing. And the crimes that we know about. This is what Israel gets you. I don't know. I mean, listen, we're going to have to look into that a little bit more. Saying, did she join a Korean esports team recently? Saying, bro, this Japanese guy is not Maxwell. I will tell you this, if I were in her place,
I said the same thing.
I would not.
I said Chinese, but
because I do not want the public.
They really do look like an Asian person.
Life. And you got to bring more awareness to it. People are saying, what? Different haircut. This says different chin. Her hair color doesn't match. Chin looks flat and not pointy. People saying it's the nose for me. Does not look the same at all. Now it says noses can get bigger or more bulbous with age and weight gain, but they don't become shorter. You also don't go from having hooded eyes to not having hooded eyes. Usually eyes become more hooded as you age. The opposite seems to have happened here. I remembered seeing this photo on the news and I immediately went, that is a totally different person, specifically because of her nose and eyes. But they fix the ears, so you have to cut the hair to show them to the conspiracy theorists. She is not in jail. Yeah, I think the real one, they might have got rid of her, right? She's in prison. She's not in jail. She's in prison, all right? So, saying apparently nobody also noticed the eyebrows. Women over 60s
I
don't
noticed that too.
magically develop thick, dark eyebrows all of a sudden, especially when they've been plucked thin for decades. So she's at the Salon Spa Club Med Prison, switching up the look. Oh, that's a senorita from Texas, and Lady GM is with Jeffrey
I ain't gonna lie,
Epstein.
we need
Big I, big
to
L.
investigate that somehow.
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
DNA
Big
test or something.
I think they mean Israel. All right, we're not doing all that, but yeah, I guess that's what they're referring to. Big I, right? Okay, nice one. Says, bro, this Japanese dude is Maxwell. This is the same comment that's been pasted. Look closely at the glasses. I think the new one might be AI generated. It says she might have spent a week or 2 in jail when they got her away ready. She's with Jeffrey Epstein doing the same stuff they've always been doing. It's crazy. Right, it's crazy. Whether this is jizz stain or not, the person's hair is shorter. It's about a week. Whether or not this is jizz stain or not, hang on. This person's hair is shorter is about as weak an argument as possible. Point to delta that cannot be easily explained away. She went to the prison barber, which one would expect her to do, especially in Texas where it's hot. Overgrown eyebrows are not indicating anything. She can't just pluck them anymore. A puffy face is to be expected. Prison food is basically all salt-based slop, and the chin being slightly different is noteworthy, but can still be explained by angles and lighting. Nobody like Maxwell will look the same after months in prison, fresh haircut or not. This is worth talking about, but it's far from a smoking gun. So the ears on the 2 photos are different. One photo has low set ears that begin below her eye. The other photo has higher set ears. Just imagine drawing a straight line from earlobe to earlobe. These 2 pictures do not match up. It says a woman in the bottom photo has Botox within at least the last 90 days and fresh filler under her eyes. Filler swelling visible under her right eye. Either someone is bringing it in and doing it for her, or she's leaving and having it done. Could you imagine having a Botox guy visit you in the feds and that being run? So it's like the astronaut who dyed her hair upon returning to Earth. This is incredibly sus and unnatural. It's like they want to make all of us normies believe what she's saying because she looks like all the 90s pics that we've been bombarded with in the media. Spoon-fed BS. Not even her. It's the eye shape that would make me question whether this is Maxwell. Her eyes have a downward slant at the outside corners, whereas in the other picture, the eyes have a more of an upturned shape. Also, Maxwell's eyes have more hooded lids. He was saying, I think this is a PR stunt to make her look dowdy. Very unlike an SUL predator. Surprised they didn't tint her hair grey. Check the utilitarian-style glasses. She looks like a hospital attendant. So different from the younger pictures we see. That is on purpose. Oh, the poor dear. See how she's suffering. This person said, I'll tell you this. If I were in her place having all of that stuff come out about me, I would not want to keep my previous look because I do not want the public to associate me with my previous life. They're saying
you're locked up,
I don't want to play with fire with a big man, okay? It says, who's coloring her hair in prison? Probably the same person who cuts hair and does braids. You can easily find this info online. Not every prison will let you dye your hair, but some will. Barbers and hairstylists in prison are a perfectly normal thing. What a trap to have in the prison. Women's prison also have inmates that offer manicures and pedicures. They can buy hair dye and makeup from the commissary. Edit, the commissary list for federal prison camp Bryan is publicly available, and hair dye costs $12.70. Interesting, okay? It says, I'm willing to consider almost anything around this case at this point, but it could also be that jailhouse cameras have a weird aspect ratio or something. People saying it's not even a weird aspect ratio, it's literally just a different focal length. Google portrait focal length comparison and you'll see how different a person can look depending on the focal length of the lens. If the cameras were swapped, we'd be calling the other one weird because that's not the one being presented as normal. It says it's time for the mods to flag this as fake information. It's so effing obvious it is her. They're saying time for you to get a 9-month account to wait for your Israeli paycheck. Let's not be ridiculous here, right? Look, I want to have another look at the pic, and I'm going to react to some comments in a different sub about this, okay? So, I don't think it looks like her. Nose is completely different. I'm sorry, I would say nose is completely different, doesn't it? What are they saying?
Nose and chin.
Sub where this is posted. Now, I
the
do
nose
want to
and chin
see
is completely different.
something about this from the Epstein sub, okay? So, as you can see, right, they're saying we are being played. Now, do people agree here? People seem to agree. It says, for me, the dead giveaway are the tip of the nose and upturned versus downturned corners of the mouth. I'm pretty sure that's how the muscle is when resting and it's not able to be changed. I believe I've tried with Botox and filler. The mouth is completely different. I mean, she's smiling here. Chin's different, mouth's different.
Even the cheekbones.
Like
even the
it
cheekbones
does look like
is
a different
different.
person to me. I was a bit surprised to see the pictures on the left recently came out. I understand.
Even the cheekbones look much smaller on
not her.
the
Not her.
New one.
I'm scared. Because I will tell you this: if I were in her place, having all of that shit come out about me, I wouldn't want to keep my previous look. I don't want the public to associate me with my previous life. Lot of comments being repeated here. I do think
Yeah,
it's
a lot of people are
suspect.
repeating that.
Okay, a little bit sus. So there's a few more posts on r/Epstein that are regarding this alleged fake jizz stain Maxwell, okay? And again, people have been saying this for a minute, all right? Now the bigger, sort of more deep theories are coming out where they basically believe that, you know, this is a body double, this is a fake, this is a fraudulent jizz stain Maxwell. But people have been saying it for a while. This is her when she had her deposition. And I can't lie, just this on its own, it's like, it looks like a
different person.
like a half decent casting, but it doesn't look like her. It says, is this really Ghislaine Maxwell?
That's not
This
her.
is a screenshot during the deposition a few days ago. Is this body double serving as her sentence? Is this a body double serving her sentence? I know people age, but other than the short hair and glasses, this looks nothing like her. Okay? It's all kinds of off. Okay.
Just think about it. Imagine she and Epstein fucking, you know, they rich as fuck. Imagine they paid somebody, like, but then what's the chances of finding a stunt double? Well, wait, maybe they already had this double, like, hired. Maybe it was like, yo, one of these days you're gonna take the fall from me, and we're gonna take care of you and your family for the rest of your life. That's freaking weird to think about, though. Like, they had that shit planned. Because how would you find a double that's willing to do this shit that quick? It must have been something planned already. Like, this lady must have already gave her fucking, like, they must have gave her millions of dollars already before she turned herself in and do this shit for her. I don't know. This is weird. This is a weird situation.
Okay, the nose, the eyes, hooded versus not, the hair color, and
That
cut
lady
not
sold
matching
her
recent
soul,
photos.
whoever is in her
Someone on
place.
YouTube did a breakdown. Says the nostril flare and nose shape are wholly different. I normally can't tell unless it's extremely obvious, and this was an immediate WTF. Because they're playing in our faces. Different eyes, different chin, changed her hair to her original haircut. I literally thought it was an AI. It's not her. The big dog has her hidden with Epstein. This is such a joke. Okay, I've seen two video breakdowns on this now. Unless prison offers cosmetic surgery, there is no way this is Maxwell. I don't understand why they'd use a double just to plead the fifth on loop, but it's exactly what they did. Psyop slop. Right, another video breakdown on it. Now you got my video breakdown on it, okay? And I hope I've gone as deep as everyone else. It says this Ghislaine's left side of the mouth lifts when she speaks. The other videos, it does not. The nose is completely different, and the accent is a little off. It says her thin, pinty nose has doubled in size and is flat. I would love to see her mugshots for each year she's been in prison. Don't they have to take those mugshots yearly? It says it's driving me mad that everyone can see that her nose and facial structure are entirely different. The only thing that matches is her haircut and glasses. I understand people age, but that person that appeared in the deposition has completely different facial structure and nose. That is not Ghislaine. Right? People can see it and people are posting, but posts are being suppressed by the higher-ups, covering everything up. So I think everyone sees it, but the media isn't touching it because they're also controlled by the wealthy. Nobody can look at this image in any previous video of Ghislaine and think that it's the same person. It's a F you to the survivors and common folk. Okay? It's interesting. So there's another one. They're saying they gave us a fake Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Completely different nose. Completely different eyes.
Completely different.
I'm sorry, but this is a different person. This is a different person.
That is
Eyebrows, completely off. Eyes, completely different shape. Nose, completely different shape and slant. Completely different. Mole under eye, missing.
No mole.
Stop playing with me, man. Stop. Are you having a laugh? Bro.
This is a completely different person.
She's got a little mole under her eye. Couldn't even get the little hair and makeup department to put a little mole on. Am I being dumb? That's not the same mole. That's not a little blemish. Look at the eyes. Completely different eye shape.
Yeah,
completely
this is
different
crazy
brow
that
profile. This is a joke.
They try to play us.
After seeing this and watching the video, I started asking questions on Gemini. That was your first mistake, but okay, let's rock with it. I first asked it to compare the three pictures, and it tells me they are not the same person. Then I asked it to identify the person on the left in the picture, see results below. They're not the same person at all. They gave us a fake Maxwell testifying in Congress, and the video is here. I'm not gonna... That is not the same person. Bro, that is a joke. That is a joke. This It's saying the image you showed of the comparison commonly found in online discussions regarding Ghislaine Maxwell. While the two individuals in the photo share similar features such as hair color, style, and general eye shape, they're not the same person. The facts: the woman on the right, this is a well-known photograph of Ghislaine Maxwell taken at a social event. The woman on the left, this is a mugshot of Maria Butina, a Russian national who was arrested in 2018 and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to act as an unregistered foreign agent in the United States. Well, that would be convenient timing to put him in as a patsy, as a stoogie, right? That's insane. This is insane. Without commenting on the accusation, please understand that generative AI is not good for anything other than kit bashing the spreadsheets. Yeah, I agree with that. Right? If that's true, she would definitely be reading this such. She was apparently a Reddit demon, saying it's been posted at least 5 times today. We need that. All right? Saying I screen grabbed the pictures of myself from the deposition and an older picture of her. The person from YouTube video has done more extensive analysis. The ears don't match the nose, the eyes, the shape of the face. You should also Google Maria Butina. They're not the same person as the photos you provided. She doesn't even have brown eyes. So Gemini's full of shit. Let's just keep it real. Another picture. This is the same one that we saw, but again, this is just showing you what people are saying about this, right? Ghislaine Maxwell photos. That's not her. Different nose, different eyes, body double in jail. That's a different person. That's a different person. This
That is
is a
totally a
Timu
different
Ghislaine
person, bro.
Maxwell, right? Absolute joke. Reality is stranger than fiction. If this were a movie, the IMDb rating would be 10, right? Speaking from experience, jail makes you fat. I'm just saying. No fillers, no spa days, no cosmetics, no skincare routine. Yep, that's how you'd look. I don't agree with that, because the last one we looked at, your eyes don't change shape. It's her. Stop with this distracting nonsense. I don't believe it. Calling bull. How is everybody in this comment section saying this the same person? Who's watched the video of that one? Of that one knows it's her, or an insanely convincing body double that also has her exact body language. Unlikely at best. The square on the nose of the prison photo doesn't start at the brows, making it look like there's a difference that actually isn't there. Look at the ears. That's the best clue that both bitch are of.
This whole Reddit is defending Epstein. I mean, Maxwell. They need to fucking double check this Reddit. Like, who's making these claims that's fucking backing up Maxwell?
Kids slain Maxwell. I prefer my nickname, but anyway. She lost her hooded eyes and maybe her nose job collapsed. How do you lose your hooded eyes? Yeah, she looks like she's been punched in the nose, hopefully. And her face is just puffy. You won't get the defining chin lines if she's not smiling. How do you explain her voice and accent being identical, given the fact she has a very particular voice cadence? This is so stupid and rooted in misogyny, even if subconscious. Oh, so it's misogynistic now. This is just what older women looks like as she ages and no longer has access to high-end beauty treatments, and makeup is natural. My grandma's facial features changed a bit as she aged, especially her nose. I don't think it's misogyny. People looking for answers on this sub tend to come from backgrounds that will have them acclimated to the prison life, right? Phone call. Ghislaine Maxwell people telling me to shut up. That's what's going on. On the other hand, I live in the hood, and everybody is oblivious to the Epstein files, so it works both ways. It's insane. The jail one looks like a dude, right? If she's not in jail, where is he? Where is she? Pick is not her. Right, this is the last Reddit one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind, and I'm going to tell you her whole life story, and you're going to understand in a little bit more detail why they would want to do this. Okay, it's insane. But saying Ghislaine Maxwell, security chief, says he hired a lookalike of her to walk around Paris to confuse the media after Epstein's death. They're saying they wouldn't use a body double. Her security chief been using body doubles.
So it makes sense
It's been
now.
happening. They replaced Ghislaine Maxwell, right?
So it makes sense.
And that apparently is already was going on. They was doing it, all right? Ghislaine Maxwell now played by Danny DeVito.
That's crazy.
Stop. That's hilarious. That is hilarious, all right? Maybe that's why reports of her weight vary from 5'4" to 5'10". Are we talking about weight? That's height, all right? This with that blind item talking about plastic surgery. What the F is going on? So this is the actual article that was being referred to there. And this basically says the security chief that worked for her hired a lookalike of her to walk around Paris to confuse the media after Epstein's death. That actually happened. Okay, that's a real thing. Matt Hellier told a forthcoming documentary.
So they
that's
was
from
looking for a
2021,
lookalike.
that he hired lookalikes of Maxwell and her brother after Epstein's death. They were hired so the real Ghislaine could escape the media. Contrary to earlier FBI filings, Hellier reportedly said she was not trying to evade the law. So she's sent a whole bunch of cap out there before. She's had body doubles. This ain't new. This ain't a new thing. Oh, I've got to come up with a body double strategy. You got a body double strategy on ice, ready to go at any time, right?
This
In
is
the
scary.
interview obtained by the Mail on Sunday, Matt Hellier described taking the move during the intense media.
Like, how do we know she was ever the one that was turned in? Like, she could have literally fucking paid off the stunt double to take her charge, and then she took the stunt double's ID and got the fuck up out of the country.
The furor in the months after the disgraced financier deleted himself in jail. The documentary is titled Ghislaine, according to the paper. We went to an agency in France, not the first time, right? A security collaborating agency. They found us 2 people who resembled Justine and her brother Kevin. All right, they strolled in Paris for a couple of days and we leaked it to a newspaper. In the picture published by the Mail on Sunday, a woman resembling Maxwell can be seen wearing a large shawl, accompanied by a man who looked like her brother Kevin. That's how we distracted attention away from where she really was. She was in the US at all times. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new.
So she been doing this,
right? Hellier was hired shortly after Epstein's death. Paper reported that Hellier said in the interview that despite reports that she was on the run from authorities, she did not even try to leave the US. She was ultimately arrested on July 2020 on charges including arraigning and participating in the abuse of minors, which she denies. Almost a year earlier, Epstein died by deleting himself in his jail cell as he awaited trial on charges of running an A minor operation involving dozens of A minors. After Maxwell's
I don't know
arrest,
how this
prosecutors
nigga Trap
deemed her
Lord does
extreme
this shit.
flight risk over her multiple passports and millions of dollars in the bank. Okay, about to sneeze. We're not going to let it happen. FBI agents said they had to breach the door to arrest Maxwell. And once inside, they found a cell phone wrapped in tinfoil as a seemingly misguided attempt to evade being tracked. What a dummy. What a dumbass. Maybe she's not faking. Got a body double, because that's not very smart, all right? That's dumb as hell. Apparently, the only thing she wanted to escape was the media, which explained planting lookalikes in Paris while she was in the US. Justine was not running from the authorities. She was running from the media, and his task was to get her out of her home quickly. What a piece of dirt, even helping her with that. That is a joke, right? So I told her we could fly her out the country immediately. She refused, Hellier reportedly said, insisting the security team did not hide her from the authorities, just the media. Yeah, sure, buddy, sure.
She's
so look,
long gone,
let
I
me
think.
rewind and take you all the way back to the start. And I want to tell you some of the backstory about what's going on with her, okay? What is actually the whole thing, the whole point of her, okay? Yeah, look, well, this is what we're hearing now, okay? We're seeing these 2 complete... This is a different person. If you ask, in my opinion...
That's 2 different
and
people.
I mean, people are saying
It's
could be a
2
different
different
focal length. I think the nose is completely off. If you're saying it's a nose job that's worn off, I don't know if that's a thing, okay? But that's what they're saying. The person they've carted out in front of the cameras is not her. But let's rewind all the way to the start, all right? This is a despicable piece of dirt because she was a big part of the operation. Arguably, Jeffrey Epstein wouldn't have been able to do what he did if he didn't have the
Without her.
support from Justine Maxwell.
That's why he
okay?
kept her
This is
around for so
Virginia
long.
Guthrie, rest in peace to her, one of the victims, one of the most famous, if not the most famous victim of this situation, saying she is a monster. She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious. She was evil. Justine was much more conniving and smart than Jeffrey ever was. Let's hear what she said, right?
She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious, she was evil, and she was a woman.
Her lawyers have said Ghislaine Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been a victim of media spin.
They're doing their job, but I know that woman. I've known her really well. Put it this way. Epstein was Pinocchio, and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
the strings?
Jeffrey. Yep,
That's
she was
crazy.
pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts, but Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was. She
That's
is a
crazy,
monster.
bro.
It's damning, right? So she's saying Ghislaine was much more smart and conniving than Epstein ever was. She was pulling the strings. Now, I'm not trying to give her any bail or any support, but what I do think is interesting that apparently they actually met when Ghislaine was a minor herself. So this is a report that's circulating on Reddit. It says Ghislaine met Epstein in the mid-70s, all right? And she would have been about 14 years old when this happened. So it says, Jeffrey, I remember in the mid-70s you being a star salesman for our tax advantage strategies and hedged option program. I was running an account for Bob Maxwell. You always had the ability to know everyone and be charming. Was that when you first discovered the Maxwell teenage daughter? Happy birthday, Elliot Woke. Excuse me? So Epstein is 8 years older than her, right? So he would have been 22, she would have been 14.
That's insane.
Gross, all right? And the comments are interesting too. It says, interesting to note too, that Epstein only began working at Bear Stearns in 1976. It's pretty strange that a new kid working in finance was already rubbing elbows.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm starting to think I've seen had a couple girls like this, bro. I think he had a couple girls like this that he was like grooming to become his little like foot soldiers to go out there and find more girls and do the same shit. Cause I would think it would be easier to like gather a bunch of little girls and get them to do what you want to do if you're a woman yourself, right? Like I would think that's like easier to manipulate girls with, right? Oh, I'm a female. You're a female. This is normal. So it's like I won't be surprised if Epstein had a few women in his life that he probably groomed from young that now they're adults and he was just using them to get to other girls. And Maxwell must have been like the most powerful one or something. I don't know. The best one out of all of them that was doing it. I don't know. That's the reason why he kept her around or was so prominent. Oh no, Maxwell was the most famous one. That's what it is. Because Maxwell's father, I believe, is involved in some shit. I don't know. It's weird though.
Was with an Elliot Woke, who was managing accounts for Bob Maxwell, a billionaire even at the time. I'd
Bob
say
Maxwell,
I'm
there you go.
impressed if it wasn't Epstein. Also, very creepy that a teenage Ghislaine would later go on to date Epstein. I wonder if this letter will force investigative reporters to take a second look at the timeline that we've kind of accepted as the truth that they met in 1991. I'm actually going to save that comment for later, because that's crazy, right? And saying Trump said he met Epstein in the 80s. Trump was a friend with Robert Maxwell in the 80s. This now means they were probably all involved together at the same time. Oh god. I don't want to get put on the list, people. Okay, I don't want to get put on the list like that. It says I suspected for years that Epstein knew Robert Maxwell well before the 90s, but couldn't prove it. We finally got the proof. This means it's now possible that Robert is the one that helped Epstein become a spy. They're trying to say that he was spying, okay? This also explained how Epstein got to work with Adnan Khashoggi in the 80s and become some sort of mercenary. Robert Maxwell was also close with the Khashoggi family. According to his former friend, the journalist Jesse Kornbluth, in the mid-1980s, Epstein said that he worked for governments to recover money looted by African dictators and occasionally subcontracted those to the same autocrats to help them hide their stolen money. A source who spoke with journalist Vicky Ward said one of Epstein's clients was the late Saudi arms dealer Khashoggi. It's crazy. It says, holy shoot. So Maxwell just admitted that she...
These people play too
She
much.
met the big man when she was a young'un. The yacht was named Ghislaine. The rabbit hole never ended. So look, I did actually see this, all right, in another Reddit thread. This is Donald Trump talking about being on Robert Maxwell's yacht, apparently, okay? So basically saying, one thing about the party abroad, British media mogul Robert Maxwell's yacht, everybody but everybody had to doff their shoes before boarding the plush-carpeted Lady Ghislaine. Maxwell insisted, and his guests cooperated, including Donald Trump minus Ivana Trump. Why would you even add that in there? Stop being silly. Who has a much bigger yacht and was happy to compare them with Maxwell. Guests sipped champagne, nibbled caviar flown in from Paris on the Concorde, and salmon served from the vessel's stores by shoeless waiters. There was John Tower, former senator and thumbed-down defense secretary, ex-Navy Secretary John Lehman, now with Payne Weber lawyer Tom Bolan, literary agent Mort Janklow, UN envoy Thomas Pickering, Peter Calicow, owner of the New York Post, Maxwell's daughter Ghislaine. You're all on the boat. And Max's niece, Helen Atkin of Macmillan, the publishing house that Maxwell recently took over. Maxwell now weighs about 300 pounds. He went over the railings, but that was a bit later. At this point, he went over the guest list personally. No one could tell who didn't make the final invitation list, but we do know that Martha Smilgis of Time magazine was invited and then disinvited. She wrote the profile of Maxwell for the mag, which he apparently did not like. It's funny they had to specify his weight. This basically sounds like Trump called in the report, which he often did to get into gossip pages. That is quite funny. It says, I've always wondered if this is generational. It was said that Ghislaine was Robert's favorite child, and we know the boat was named after her. There are reports in the files that adults were selling their own kids to others among this group to do madness at parties. It doesn't seem that far-fetched that Ghislaine could have been abused from a young'un and just continued in the abuse business with Epstein once her dad died and was found to be totally broke. Where else was she going to get the kind of money it takes to upkeep that kind of lifestyle? And people agree. Because I think
Makes
people need to
sense.
learn about Robert Maxwell. In an article in the Times of Israel explains very well what this remarkable man who forged an unprecedented empire. They're saying, what about his other children too? We forgot the death of ex-husband of Isabel Maxwell, Al Sackle. His children were very successful. Interesting. So look, the Israel thing, I could look into that another time, all right? I could dig into that another time, all right? But really, I want to focus on Ghislaine Maxwell, all right? But look, she basically gets crazier and crazier. Ghislaine could actually be one of Epstein's first victims, all right? That's what they're saying. Saying she could have been first. Now look, Robert Maxwell, he unfortunately got turned into cookies just like Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Stunting like my daddy, stunting like Ghislaine's daddy. He basically died under very suspicious circumstances. So I'm going to play you a TikTok that's going to give you a bit more context as to what was going on with Daddy Ghislaine Maxwell, and you can understand what was going on with that. Let's get this going. Oh God, oh God, oh God, they don't want me
His
to
daughter
play
Ghislaine
this.
ends up working with Epstein. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, his family died in Auschwitz, and he actually escaped the Holocaust. Years later, his daughter Ghislaine ends up working with Epstein after he passes away. Also, at his funeral, there were 6 Israeli intelligence agents. So this is the dark origin of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So Robert Maxwell was born in 1923 in a Jewish village in what is present-day Ukraine. When the Nazis invaded, he fled. So he made it to France, he joined the British Army, and he fought in World War II. And then he completely reinvented himself. He became Robert Maxwell, British MP, a billionaire, a media mogul. Like, he made an empire. Behind the scenes, sources say that he worked with Mossad, allegedly laundering money, passing intel, and using his publishing empire, because he worked in media, for influence operations. In November of 1991, Maxwell vanished off of his yacht. His yacht was named the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. His body was found in the Atlantic, and then his cause of death was
Damn, that
told as
hurt
an
like a
accidental
motherfucker.
drowning. But nobody believed that. He was then buried in Jerusalem with full Israeli state honors, and in attendance were 6 former and active Mossad agents. Why would Israeli spies honor a media mogul? And just months after her father's mysterious death, Ghislaine Maxwell appears in New York on the arm of Jeffrey Epstein. And the storyline is so close that it's possible that she knew Jeffrey as her father was dying, or right around that time period. That's exactly when her and Jeffrey met and became buddy-buddy. Was that a coincidence? I don't know. Was she handed to Epstein like an asset? I also don't know. What we do know is what ensued is that Ghislaine and Epstein built a trafficking and blackmail empire tied to global elites. And this is not a national issue. This is a global issue. So did her father's death clear the path? Was Epstein her lover, or maybe her Israeli intelligence handler? And the number one thing that always comes to my mind about the Jeffrey Epstein case is, how could one man, if you don't know much about Jeffrey Epstein, go look into his history, look at his education, look at where he's from. How could this one man with little to no influence over anyone, he's really a nobody, how could he garner so much power on his own? That is the unanswered question about Jeffrey Epstein.
It's very interesting, right? How on earth did Epstein get so much power? Well, one of the people that might have given him all of that power, all right, no one man should have all this power, but one of the people who might have done that was Robert Maxwell. Now, we don't know, well, clearly we know, okay, that Epstein had met Ghislaine Maxwell when she was a young'un, but it seemed like she probably inherited a lot of her father's influence and connections. And what's really scary about this is that he was truly plugged in with the global elite. So this is from r/Epstein 5 months ago. It says photos of Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, meeting people of influence, okay? That's the Global Economic Panel in Amsterdam, all right? With, from left, W. Decker, Minister Van den Broek, Henry Kissinger, and Robert Maxwell in Amsterdam, North Holland, 1989, right? And then they want to basically give some background of, you know, who was who, but basically you get the gist. Look at that. Father of Ghislaine Maxwell, who's implicated. There he is with Princess Diana. Right, locked in with the royal family. Prince Andrew not far behind, right? Norman Schwarzkopf Jr. was a United States Army general while serving as the commander of the United States Central Command. He led a coalition of forces in the Gulf War against the Baathists in Iraq, all right? This is Leonid Brezhnev, Soviet politician who served as the general secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from '64 until his death in 1982, as well as the 4th chairman of the, I don't even know what that says, Predinitium of the Supreme Soviet, basically head of the state, the presidency maybe, from 1960 to 1964, and again in 1977 to 82. Maxwell's locked in. There he is with Prince Philip. That's the Queen Elizabeth's husband, all right? Prince Andrew's father. Yep, Prince Andrew's daddy. This is Ghislaine Maxwell with Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen. All right, no substitute, the actual Queen. Ghislaine Maxwell with Princess Diana. She's plugged in. She's tapped in. So Ghislaine Maxwell was getting all them connections. This is with Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, not quite as impressive, but sure. Literally chilling with Mother Teresa, right? Cooking, making phone calls, big wigging on the phone. Imagine you're in the room with Mother Teresa and you're such a big dog. You need, sorry, Mother Teresa. Hold that thought, all right? I got to make a quick call. I got an important business call. Like, are you mad? Mother Teresa, I don't know who Anne Sinclair is, but I'm sure she's important. Edith Cresson, the former Prime Minister of France. Okay. Oh, and here we go. Here we go. Meeting between Israel's Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir and Robert Maxwell. Okay. Is what it is, man. Is what it is. This is with Pamela Harriman, a British-born American socialite and political figure. She had high-profile affairs with men like Eli de Rothschild.
My stomach bubbling. I gotta use the bathroom.